Good morning. First, allow me to congratulate SEARCA for its 11th five-year plan, the Center's identity and roadmap of its programs and activities in the region over the next 5 years. It is also the basis of GOP funding to support its operations and manpower complement. The importance of the five-year plan cannot be overemphasized. Today, I have been asked to talk about the recently concluded 10th FYP, which was formulated and implemented during my incumbency as Center Director. The 10th FYP focused on promoting inclusive and sustainable agricultural and rural development, or ISARD. It became a byword and the face of SEARCA in the region from 2014 to 2020. Achievements under the 10th FYP are well documented. These include many knowledge products with research results and studies conducted, multiple scientific meetings and fora built around ISARD, and on-the-ground applications and replications of the approach. We also contributed to assessment and improvement of national agricultural programs and formulation of agriculture and environment-related national policies and legislation. The focus on ISARD was timely and gave the Center mileage, visibility, and relevance. We received both institutional and individual recognition for our work. The plan itself was arrived at through rigorous consultations with a wide array of stakeholders and international research and development organizations. I am proud of our plan and grateful to the men and women of the Center who worked tirelessly to implement and articulate its goals. I wish to go a step further by relating the 10th FYP to the newly minted 11th FYP, the theme of which is on accelerating transformation through agricultural innovation, Academe. The 11th FYP starts from where the 10th ended and must succinctly move up the next rung in focus, scope, and mode of delivery. It is imperative that there be a degree of continuity and connection between the two FYPs. Allow me now to summarize my thoughts and suggestions on the matter. Number one, with the advent of the pandemic, SEARCA must focus on and contribute to food security and poverty alleviation of resource-poor farmers and rural areas where poverty is prevalent. Ironically, they are supposed to produce our food. This is the inclusivity component of the 10th FYP. That is, due attention to the farmers and their circumstances. Definitely, helping farmers will be a continuing concern in the 11th FYP. Number two, against a backdrop of decreasing agricultural land, climate change, lack of vital support services and infrastructure, and limited access to farm inputs, the order of the day is to produce more from less. This is what we sought to address in the 10th FYP. These circumstances persist and have become compounded by problems in transport, over-importation of competing agricultural products, effects of the pandemic on demand and supply, loss of soil fertility, and worsening climatic conditions, making challenges to the 11th FYP all the more formidable. In the 10th FYP, we went for knowledge management, dissemination of information on new technologies and best practices, assessment and improvement of national agricultural programs and systems, value chain analysis, and promotion of climate-smart agriculture, among others. We walked the talk by engaging in community-based pilot and demonstration facilities in partnership with agricultural universities and even elementary schools. We plan to regionalize and institutionalize the approach in partnership with selected universities of SEARCA's University Consortium and national and international ARD entities. An underlying objective was to capacitate and develop agricultural education institutions to help in ARD of the respective countries. The 11th FYP is now a great opportunity to achieve the regionalization and institutionalization we aspire for. Number three, The majority of agriculture-based countries in Southeast Asia aims to pump prime their economies through agriculture. SEARCA can play a big role and contribute to this end. One way is to promote agribusiness and enterprise development with the participation and added inputs and resources of the private sector. We have been doing this in the 10th FYP, and it should logically continue in the 11th. Historically, the focus on agribusiness is a legacy of the late former director, J.D. Drilon Jr., an internationally renowned expert and advocate of agribusiness. The focus on agribusiness and entrepreneurship must live on in these trying times. Number 4, in raising agricultural productivity, agricultural extension, and efforts to develop the so-called new extensionists must take center stage. We started this in the 10th FYP through a grant from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. We studied typologies and nuances of extension systems in selected countries in Asia and the Pacific, and laid the foundation for an extension network among the participating countries. In the 11th FYP, SEARCA can establish a similar extension network, but specifically for CMU member countries. The idea is to spread successful extension systems and approaches that can be transferred and adapted through the region and in individual member countries. Number 5, SEARCA's efforts to develop a cadre of agricultural experts through graduate education and short-term training should evolve into distance and online modes. Some prototypes were already being developed during the 10th FYP. The pandemic and the new normal necessitates these alternative modes of learning. As for SEARCA scholarships, perhaps study and degree programs within the scholar's home country makes more sense, since travel and face-to-face study have been limited and regulated in the member countries and the university consortium of universities. This must be enhanced by developing and helping weak or young agricultural universities enter the mainstream. A lot can be done in improving agricultural curricula in Southeast Asia higher education institutions, which will have a tremendous impact. Number 5, the many ways of how SEARCA has contributed to ARD and overall development of the Philippines and Southeast Asia is a way of giving back to its many benefactors, stakeholders, partners, and clients, and to prove it is well worth the confidence and support given it. SEARCA must strive to maintain the levels of grants, programs, and collaborations that proliferated during the 10th FYP. It must also be current and proactive and on top of burning issues and problems that hound and stifle agriculture. In so doing, it will maintain its reputation as Southeast Asia's Center for Agriculture and the development partner of choice in the region. Number 7, SEARCA cannot do it alone. This brings to the fore the importance of building linkages and partnerships with national and international ARD institutions. We have already made headway with the likes of IFAD, OECD, FAO, Agropolis, SUPAGRO, World Bank, ADB, ASEAN, and GIZ. We must widen and strengthen this network. So too must SEARCA continue to establish and join networks to allow it to share and partake of financial resources and experts for concerted efforts that will go a longer way. Number 8, lastly, a true measure of success is when SEARCA is much sought after and cited because of its expertise and work, when it is being offered program grants even without asking, and when donors and partners alike offer to collaborate. We already arrived at this point during the 10th FYP. The 11th FYP must ensure that we remain a major player in ARG and on the radar of the development community in this part of the world. I hope these points and suggestions will help. I wish SEARCA the best in its 11th five-year plan. Good day, everyone.